Oh yeah, I love that. Welcome back to the Justin Thurber Show. I am your host, Justin Thurber, and as always, my co-host extraordinaire, Jim Davison. How we doing today, Jim?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm all dressed up because I'm heading to a forum for planning board later on today.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that. It's like the League of Women Voters or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So all the candidates in town will be doing a debate on for the upcoming election.
All right, make us proud. Hey, so we're gonna change some things up going forward. We're always trying to do better on the show, and we want to deliver a better product to everybody out there that's listening or watching. So what we're gonna do is today we're gonna get some housekeeping taken care of, and we're gonna update you on some stories we have had covered in the past. So Jim, can you give us an update on the Mass GOP, the caucuses, the fundraising, and all the other stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So everyone that's been watching has known that the Mass GOP is currently filling vacant state committee seats right now, and tomorrow is going to be another caucus for the state committee seat, and this one is going to be the Plymouth and Norfolk district, and it's going to be tomorrow actually at 6:30 p.m. And for those unfamiliar with the district, it's going to include the towns Weymouth, Hingham, Cohasset, Norwell, Situate, Marshfield, Duxbury, and Hull.
Just a
So again,
couple.
this is to replace one of the 80 state committee members. I think the existing member had transition to something else. So where this seat will be to fill that position. So there's a strong grassroots candidate running, Joe Bronski.
Nice.
So we're going to keep an eye out on him and see how he does in that election tomorrow.
And what about the fundraising? I know there's been some confusion I've seen recently about the numbers for what Amy Carnevale and the GOP said they raised as opposed to the numbers that you have found through OCPF.
Yeah, so one of the highlights that we've been paying attention to over the last chair election and kind of this tug of war that's happening within the Mass GOP, one of the primary issues within the Mass GOP has been around fundraising. So after the new chair was elected, that was kind of the main focus, was that she was going to bring in a bunch of fundraising into the Mass GOP. So like you said, we want to kind of hold people accountable and make sure if that's what they're running on, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
And so I just thought it would be interesting to compare what the fundraising has been in Q1 of this year compared to the Q1s of years prior.
Yeah.
And pretty much what I found these are the numbers right here. So in 2020, the Mass GOP raised 190K. In 2021, that went up to 203K. And in 2022, that went up to 213K. And then in 2023, the Mass GOP raised a total of $38,000.
Yeah.
So
Well,
clearly a big drop off from some of the former, the prior years. So I think, I don't know, we'll kind of wait and see how the fundraising comes in and see if it
sure.
improves from here. But that was just one thing that I had noticed, is that was a central issue of the last chair election. And
Well, I think everyone wants them to be successful so they can get it out to the candidates who need the money. It's just one of those things you say. I think a lot of people on the periphery, on the outside of things, look at it, and will sit there and be like, "Hey, listen, this is super easy. I can do it really easy." And then they get in the seat and realize it's not everything they thought it was going to be. So, hopefully those numbers go up, and but if not, well, I'm sure we'll keep we'll keep on it. Um,
some people were calling the report not true as well. So I'd like to challenge anyone that says that. So I mean,
yeah,
I ran the numbers myself. I found them right from the OCPF website. If you go up and you look at I think it's committee contributions and individual contributions are
yep.
the two categories. So anyone can find that information. And so I challenge those that say that it's not true to, let's kind of explore that a little bit more, because
Nice.
I don't know. There's a few people spreading that rumor where I don't know what that's based out of.
Well, we'll keep everyone posted on that. I'm sure a lot of people that listen might not might not think that, hey, Massachusetts GOP and fundraising means anything to them, but they say all politics is local, but all politics is also national. And one thing I keep telling people is, I really think Republican donors are starting to change their habits, and they're starting to say we're going to fund candidates, not the party. And I think what's happening is to punish the party for not doing what they want the party to do. Unlike the Democratic Party that usually bands together, and I said I give them credit for that. They circle the wagons when they have to. We don't do that, and we hold people to account. So if you're not doing what the people want, the people aren't going to support us. So, hopefully we can all come together, change, and have a meeting of the minds or something like that, and just be able to, fundraise and win elections going forward. So,
Yeah,
all right, enough about that.
I agree that the goal is to be on one team at the end of
Yes.
the day.
Yeah. So the other thing we want to let everyone know is East Hampton, where the school board voted to not hire, to rescind their offer to that superintendent because he said the word ladies. They upheld that decision, and they're going to go with an interim superintendent as they search probably far and wide for someone that doesn't use the word ladies and will call people folks or y'alls or something dumb like that. So I'm just hoping somewhere out there some sanity prevails and that the community comes together and be like, can we just hire competent people and listen? Maybe you think they say something wrong, but can we be adults and just, keep going forward? So we'll keep people posted on that story that we had in, I think 2 weeks ago, we had that story. So if you haven't heard that story, go on our YouTube, go on our podcast, search. It's absolutely crazy. So the other thing, Jim, in the news is another bank collapse. Funny, we haven't heard about too many of those lately, but now it seems like it's starting to pick up steam again. What do you think?
Yeah, that's one of the topics we covered in a prior segment. And like we said in the segment, that as much as the government was trying to say this is one and done, they stepped in and saved everything. We were pretty much saying that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. This is a much deeper problem than is being let on. And sure enough, the banking crisis has never stopped. It's still continuing. And then now we're just seeing it continue even further with the collapse of First Republic Bank over the weekend. Essentially, the FDIC has said that they're pretty much trying to find a bidder, and they're stepping in to sell its assets essentially. So there's I think we'll still see more to come on this. This is just another domino to fall, and we'll stay tuned in the coming months for any other news on this.
Sure, and if like I said, if people want to go back and look at some of our old episodes on, SVB and the banking crisis and where we think it's going, a lot of information out there. And as this story develops, because I'm sure it's going to develop because there's a lot of things going on in the market. You and I talked during the week about these things. I think we'll be talking more about banks and stock markets and recessions, unfortunately, and what we do to get out of there. I'm usually not a big government type of person. We've discussed this, Jim, ad nauseum. But when I used to take economics class and they talked about recessions and depressions, and they said, who is better at getting people out of there, the government or people spending? Well, I think the mentality for most people in a recession or depression is to save. So unfortunately, during those times, I think the only one that actually can get you out or get you out quicker is probably the government by spending. But again, that's something in the future that we can talk about. I hope you and I are wrong. I hope we're not heading that direction. But hey, keep watching, stay informed. So a lot of kind of downer news on some things, but we actually have some good news because I know last week you and I both participated in some Earth Day events because it was Earth Day last Saturday, and we have some pictures up. Unfortunately, people listening on Spotify, you probably have to go to YouTube to see the pictures, but tell me about your group and what they did, and then I'll give a little bit about what we did in Dayton.
Yeah, I'll just start with the high level stuff. So this was a great event for RTC to be a part of because a lot of times in politics, especially in Massachusetts, Republicans get that stereotype that, oh, they don't care about the environment, or like they don't care. And we've talked about the energy transition and some of the issues going on, how actually the energy transition in Mass is actually causing us to burn more fossil fuels. And I mean, we already have 3 times the electric rates and all this other stuff. But anyways, so the Earth Day was really kind of a good way to change that narrative in our local community, in our town specifically. And so RTC, credit to our RTC for organizing this. We have an events committee that looks for different events in town, and they identified this as like a great opportunity to to get involved with the community, and it really was. We had a team of about 15 people from our RTC and friends of our RTC and their families, and it was just a good day overall. We got out. We the town does their own Earth Day initiative, so they supplied trash bags, and yeah, we all met up at a spot that we felt like needed a little bit of cleaning in town, and we were able to find all sorts of trash. I think in total we might have gotten like, I don't know, close to 40 trash bags worth of trash. So definitely a very successful event. And the thing was, it was posted all around social media in our town as well. So that was really cool to see it on like some of these town websites where I don't even think the Democrat town committee did got anyone together for Earth Day. So I think it really just was like a great event overall.
That's something I want to hit on, because it's always funny because the media or people paint us as people that don't care about the environment, and it's really not that we don't care about the environment. I've always been taught since a young age to be a good steward, right? I think a lot of religious people believe, hey, you take care of earth, God created the earth, take care of the earth if you're religious, right? Or leave the world a better place than you found it. That's things they always taught us. I think what happens is a lot of times they confuse that with, climate alarmism, or, all this climate stuff they want to talk about. And, I think most conservatives, Republicans would love to have a discussion on that, because, whether we believe it all or we trust the science or whatever, I think there's room for discussion in how we attack the problem. I don't think taxing is going to fix the problem. But what I do think is going to fix the problem is people getting out and doing things, living a life that helps the environment. So, well, here's one thing you guys did. You handed out seeds to attract. I thought this was a great idea. You handed out seeds to attract, was it bees or insects or whatever, and to help them out. That's a great idea, right? But the other thing too is, look at this trash, right? My sons and I, we had tire hubs. We had the front bumper of a vehicle. It's under those bags. We had all these bags, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, the people that do this, like, I don't do this. I'm sure you don't do it. I think there's a lot of people that care about the environment and don't do this. And then there's a lot of people that just don't care. And I don't mind teaching people to care about the community they live in. The country, the environment, like, we can teach that, right? But I think where we differ is like how much government involvement, how much money should be taken out of our pocket to do things that may or may not solve the problem and work. Just one quick story too. I remember I was in Spain in the military, and there was a woman working at the base from Spain, and she was cleaning out her car, and her car was an absolute mess, disgusting. And I'm like, what is this? And because she was a smoker and stuff like that. And she was telling me, she's like, listen, I love my country. She's like, I'd much rather keep my car a mess, keep everything here and clean it instead of litter. And I'm like, that's such a simple idea and something we can do, right? And a lot of this stuff, baby diapers, bottles, we found diapers. I mean, just all this stuff in there. You're like, my goodness, people, like, can we just be good stewards of the land? And I think what we need to do, and I hope more RTCs, and I hope just more people come together every year, not just every year, it shouldn't be one day, it should be all the time, but the basic simple things that we should do as individuals is, hey, don't litter, clean up after yourself. And just think about it. I want to leave a better world for my kids than when I came in. And if we all had that mentality, I think it would go a long way. And a lot of this perceived division between, conservatives and, Democrats or liberals, it would actually kind of go away. And we see, hey, we all want the same thing. Just how does that look and how do we get there?
Yeah, and I think it's great. Anyone that's part of an RTC or anyone that's leadership of an RTC should definitely look at doing this in 2024 too,
Yes.
because it's just a great way not only to bond with the individuals on your RTC, because we're all busy, so we meet for the RTC, but it's usually business when we're
Yes.
we're meeting for the RTCs. So this was a great way to have like a fun event, really connect with people outside of their families and people outside of the RTC as well. So just a great way to connect with a lot of people, and then also recruit too, because as we were getting out there, we were talking to people, and you
Yeah.
know, people that might be hiding in the woodwork or might not want to be associated with a stigma that being involved with an RTC would have. You know, all of a sudden it's like this kind of erases that stigma too. So I think it's just a great overall event for you know, for the community, for the RTCs, you know, just to connect with families. It's a win-win overall for everyone.
Yeah. All right. So as I said earlier, that we're always trying to do new things on the Justin Thurber Show, just to get you a lot of information. Sometimes we go real in depth with stories, and I know a lot of people, you know, have to listen to them for a while, and sometimes like I have to listen to it on my car ride, then get home and listen to it a little bit more. And